They say if you dig a pit for others, one day you will fall into it yourself. Well, in the deep forest of Plateau State, that proverb didn't just come true, it exploded in real time. If you thought the lords of the forest were untouchable, think again. Because as of this week, another deadly bandit cell has been completely erased from the map, and the story of how it happened will make you shake your head in disbelief. Yes, you saw the headlines. And no, this is not propaganda. Confirmed reports as of Thursday, January 8, 2026, say troops of the 3rd Division under Operation Enduring Peace carried out a surgical operation that wiped out a gang allegedly linked to the notorious Belolutuji network, right inside Kodoko district, Wase Local Government Area of Plateau State. And trust me, these bandits didn't just lose. They walked straight into their own funeral. So let's rewind and break down how this whole thing went from a quiet village to a deadly showdown in the bush. For months, the people of Lontom village had been sleeping with one eye open. Kidnappings, midnight robberies, threat letters, strangers watching from the tree line. Parents were scared to let their children walk to school. Farmers were abandoning their land. And every strange sound at night felt like the beginning of another attack. But what the villagers didn't know was this: the military had already been watching. Quietly. Patiently. Collecting intelligence. And when the signal finally came, the response was fast and brutal. On Tuesday, January 6, 2026, before the sun had fully stretched across the hills, troops moved in. According to Captain Joshua A.T.U. John, Acting Military Information Officer of Operation Enduring Peace, soldiers stormed the hideout with speed and coordination that gave the criminals no breathing space. No long chase. No warning shots. Just pure tactical pressure. 4 suspects were arrested alive. And from the hideout, soldiers recovered a locally fabricated rifle, an axe, a machete. At that point, it looked like a textbook success. Suspects in cuffs. Weapons recovered. Mission accomplished. But that's where the story took a dark turn. Because these men were not ready to accept defeat. Not at all. During questioning, the arrested suspects suddenly became helpful. They told the troops, "We have more weapons. We buried them outside town. Take us there. We will show you." Now think about that for a second. To the soldiers, that meant more weapons recovered. Fewer tools for future attacks. More safety for the villagers. So the troops agreed. And that decision led them into the most dangerous moment of the entire operation. As they walked into the bush on the outskirts of Kodoko, something shifted. The air got tense. The movement became strange. And then, in a moment of madness that can only be described as suicidal, the suspects made their move. They didn't run. They didn't surrender. They tried to snatch a soldier's rifle. Let that sink in. Handcuffed. Surrounded by armed troops. And still bold enough to try and disarm a Nigerian soldier in the forest. That was their final mistake. The response was instant. No confusion. No delay. No chance for the suspect to even touch the trigger. Captain John confirmed it clearly. The troops neutralized them on the spot. In plain terms, the ambush attempt ended their lives immediately. That fake surrender trick. It bought them nothing but a fast ticket out of this world. And that right there is the message being sent across the forest of Plateau. You don't outsmart trained soldiers. You don't fake surrender and live to tell the story. And you definitely don't try to steal a weapon from a man whose job is survival. Now here's the part that keeps commanders on edge. During the first raid, 2 other members of the gang escaped into the thick forest, and one of them ran with an AK-47. That changes everything. Because an armed fugitive in that terrain is not just running. He's hunting for his next opportunity. And that's why the general officer commanding 3rd Division, Major General E.F. Onlola, has ordered a full manhunt. Search operations are ongoing. Forest routes are being blocked. And intelligence units are tracking movement. The message is simple. This story is not finished yet. This incident shows you something most people don't want to admit. The enemy is not always charging at you with guns blazing. Sometimes they smile, cooperate, pretend to surrender, wait for the exact moment you relax. That's the reality soldiers face in this forest. So when people ask, why are they so strict? Why don't they give second chances? This is why. Because hesitation in that moment can cost lives. And this week, quick reflexes saved soldiers from being killed with their own weapon. Let me ask you something honestly. If a prisoner tries to grab a soldier's gun in the middle of the bush, what option is left? Should the soldier negotiate? Should he wait and see what happens next? Or is instant response the only thing that keeps everyone alive? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is not a small conversation. This is about real rules of engagement in real war zones, not courtroom theories. Yes, weapons were recovered. Yes, suspects were removed. But the real victory is this. For violent criminals will never again kidnap, rob, or threaten that community. Mothers will sleep easier. Farmers can return to their land. Children can walk without fear of being dragged into the forest. And as the hunt continues for the remaining two, one thing is clear. Operation Enduring Peace is not just a name. It is being enforced, one dangerous cell at a time. If this update gave you hope, don't keep quiet about it. Support the men risking their lives out there, hit that like button and push this story out. And if you're not yet subscribed, now is the time. Because we're tracking every win, every raid, and every major development, no filters, no sugarcoating, just the truth from the front lines. Stay alert. Stay informed. And let's keep praying for the safety of both civilians and the brave soldiers standing between us and chaos.
Slowly.